NASCAR, I can't name you more than more than two minorities ever that has been involved in NASCAR. NASCAR is a Southern Caucasian dominated event, sport, if you will. I'm not going to disrespect the drivers. And it's not just in sports. You see that everywhere. Did you see the uproar that Beyonce received when she dropped a country album? There's people to this day that still say she did not drop a country album, even though she's won Grammys for best country artist and stuff like that. They're still saying it's not a country album. That is not country, which is fine. You know, I'm not a country connoisseur, but there's just avenues that people are clear minorities. NASCAR and African Americans are definitely one of them. So I want to congratulate Bubba Wallace for becoming the first African American driver to win a major race, the NASCAR Cup Series in Indianapolis. Contrary to popular belief, Bubba Wallace has actually been pretty good in NASCAR. He hasn't really won much, but he's been pretty good. And I know that a lot of people remember Bubba. Anytime Bubba Wallace's name comes up, the first thing that comes to mind is the whole noose thing in the garage, which is unfortunate. But I am going to champion anybody African American that's doing something out of the majority. And the fact that again, do you understand? I don't. Let me first. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't really watch F1. I don't really watch racing. It's just not appealing to me. Just watching somebody drive in a circle, or that just doesn't do it for me. But I do understand when we talk about how dangerous it is, when we talk about the speed, the heat. I know it says it can get up to over 100 degrees in those cars because the engine and how fast you're going. The sun is beaming down, like it's grueling. And again, I'm here to congratulate Bubba Wallace, man. I haven't, and the cool thing about it is, I haven't heard his name in a while. I have not heard his name in a while. So when I did hear, I was like, oh shoot, what do you do? And I was like, oh, he won, And then he was just so animated when he won because again, this was his first major race that he won. So shout out to him, man. Always in the vein of this, it's like always think about, while there are minorities in different sports, what sport could African Americans take over if we took it seriously? I know that this is a touchy subject for people, but if we took a sport seriously, what sport other than, basketball and football could we dominate? One of the sports that is absolutely last on the list or close to last is NASCAR. I just don't think NASCAR we're going to break through. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but there has always been an underlining racist undertone when we talk about NASCAR. I'm not going to go into depth. You can always look it up if you want. But there has always been a I'm not even going to call it subtle. There's always been a underbed and sometimes front and center, but it's usually been an underbed of racism when we talk about NASCAR. So for the fact that Bubba Wallace was able to win, it's another, and I'm not calling him Tiger Woods. Whoa. I'm not saying he's on the same level as Tiger, so don't hear me say that. But as great, and Tiger was much better in his, relative sport, i.e. golf, than Bubba Wallace was when we talk about NASCAR. But do you understand how difficult it was for Tiger, as great as he is, just to break into a golf and be accepted and even be allowed to compete for a green jacket? We're talking about arguably the greatest golfer known to man. Obviously, it's an argument, but a lot of people would say that Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer known to man. It took him so long just to be accepted in the golf sphere. And ironically, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to put any channels out there. I'm not going to say any names. But in doing research for this and finding out that Bubba Wallace won the major or the NASCAR the Cup Series, I went to go look at commentary. I went to go listen to the commentary about him winning. And boy, there are some people that were upset with that, man. It's always funny when I hear and when you figure out why people are upset. Some people just like being upset. Some people just don't like joy. And when you hear people upset with him that he won, that's one. People upset with him for how exuberant he was and how happy he was that he won. Because again, you won your first major race, bro. What do you expect? Do you expect someone to just be like, hey, I won. Yippee. In fact, if you go back to almost every single star, white, black, any race, and look how they react their first time, of course that's what like, now I might not have, threw the middle finger at a couple people, but you know what I'm saying? But people were upset. Again, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to put anybody out there, but that should tell you exactly where you're at and why that this is second on the docket. I am here to spread love and positivity as much as I can. And you start this episode with a teammate trying to kiss another teammate on the forehead, and then the next one is celebrating Bubba Wallace for becoming the first black driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series in Indianapolis. Congratulations to you, brother. Well deserved. Well deserved. Hell, he may never win again. He may never finish first again. I don't care. Hell, he might even be the cover of this episode. He earned it. Shouts out to Bubba Wallace for making history. Boy, people were upset. The same verbiage, the same energy you heard people give Beyonce for making that country album, and even worse, winning a Grammy for that country album, is the same voices you heard and the same energy you heard when Bubba Wallace won. And trust me, if you think I'm lying, if you think I'm over exaggerating, you go listen for yourself. Because trust me, if it didn't happen, if people were just like, hey, good job, brother, I wouldn't say nothing. I would just say congratulations and keep it moving. But when you hear some of the that I'm sure are still on the internet, because that's where I saw it and that's where I heard it, I'll let you do with that information as you will. Again, congratulations, Bubba Wallace, for becoming the first black driver to win at the NASCAR or win a NASCAR Cup Series. Shout out to you, brother. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.